Huh? Huh? Awesome. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, once again, third of 3 races this evening with the American Short Track Association at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the Patriot Graphics UMP Modifieds. Right now, a little pre-race practice going on. Once again, quick time in practice so far, Mr. Rick Gibson, a 16.440 second effort from the driver of the 38 machine. Martin Karch right now in second spot of 16.576. Ronald Piles third quick. He's been 2 for 2 so far this evening, picking up the American Short Track Association Street Stock feature as well as the Slideways Karting Center Midget race just a moment ago. Going to be trying to pick up the W here as well in the Patriot Graphics UMP Modified main event. Patriot Graphic. Piles right now 4th in practice / qualifying, I suppose you could call it right now. 4th quick with a 16.598 second lap. Rick Gibson on top. Tim DeSwart out of Knoxville, Iowa in second spot. Patriot Graphics UMP Modifieds getting ready to go for their race here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway, a 4/10 of a mile dirt oval, Charlotte, North Carolina. Probably the biggest race of its real racing season, of course, the World Finals. With the World of Outlaws Sprint cars, the World of Outlaws Super Late models, and the Super Dirt Car Big Block Modifieds as well. Looks like 9 cars entered in here so far for the Patriot Graphics UMP Modified Racing main event. Talk about somebody that's been close so far tonight. That's the 17 of Brett Rolls. Brett has been racing right up there towards the front in both of our features earlier this evening. It's going to be looking to bring home the dub here in the Patriot Graphics. And right now we are going to go for a cockpit right here, in-car racing cam, ladies and gentlemen, with the #1 machine of Martin Karch. Right now, Martin heading out onto the racetrack as we go in the cockpit with him around here, the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway, working the bottom of turns 1 and 2 to work his way up towards the racing line. Karch hard on the throttle coming into the corner, rotates the car very nicely, brings it back around as we go down the front boulevard into turn #1. Car up on the bars, you see it rocked over on the right side of the race car, and that's what you want. Bouncing off the 8,000 RPM line there on the Accutech tachometer. We go back down into turn #1 a little bit loose that time. Once again, Martin second in qualifying. Take a look at the 38 of Mr. Rick Gibson here. Rick, quickest so far in 38 machine, 16.440. That's his best lap. His last lap, a 17.406 second effort. The racetrack may be going away just a little bit. I'll tell you what, these UMP Modifieds definitely a handful as well. It's kind of a different sensation from just about any of the other dirt track cars here in iRacing. You got to be this and a late model, really. You've really got to be up on the throttle, have the car up on the bars to make it work around the racetrack. And it is definitely a quite different sensation from, say, a sprint car or even a midget or a street stock. So these things, a wide range of race cars this evening, and a lot of different driving styles and really techniques that we see here in the American Short Track Association. Street stocks can really take a licking and keep on ticking, as they say. The midget's a bit more fragile, and these UMP modifieds kind of in that same boat. You smack the wall and knock the rear end out of line or knock something out of kilter, and it is just not going to work. But really, as the night goes on here at Charlotte, the line looks to be like it's going to be moving up the racetrack, and it may very well be right up alongside the wall as we're looking at Martin Karch once again here in the one machine. Right up alongside the wall in turns 3 and 4, back down around the hub of the racetrack on the other end in turns 1 and 2. And Martin that time going back towards the bottom of 3 and 4. It looks like practice going to come to a close. Rick Gibson once again atop the standings in practice. Let's see if we can make it here in heat race action and keep it up towards the front. Rick Gibson this evening driving the 38 machine. Rick is originally from El Paso, Texas, currently stationed in Jacksonville, Florida, serving in the U.S. Navy. Thank you so much, Rick, for your service to this great country. 8 years so far in the Navy. Favorite cars in iRacing, he says, anything on the dirt. And Rick has really been up towards the front in all 3 of our races this evening, just trying to put it all together and park it on the slab here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are going to be getting ready to go with our first of, I would suspect, 2 heat races here in just a moment. Once again, 9 cars entered into competition with the modifieds this evening, the Patriot Graphics modifieds. And looks like heat race number 1 getting ready to roll out here in just a moment. And there is Mr. Rick Gibson in the 38 machine, rolling out onto the racetrack. Beautiful looking black and green monster of a modified there. Good looking race car for the driver. Originally, once again, from El Paso, Texas, currently stationed in Jacksonville, Florida. And to his outside going to be the 18 of Mr. Brian Beach. Looks like Michael Massey going to be inside row 2 alongside Ronald Henry in the 75. And that is going to make up heat race number 1. Looks like we may be going green this time. Yeah, Gibson on the throttle off of 4. He's going to lead the field down the front boulevard into turn number 1. And what a great start for the 38 machine. It's his race to start, and Gibson rockets down the back chute into turn 3 already. Rick Gibson going to lead lap number 1. It looks like Michael Massey in second spot, getting around Brian Beach. That's a good battle there for the runner position. And Beach all kinds of out of shape through turns 1 and 2. Not letting Massey get too far away. Again, the same set of problems in the second set of corners. Beach now coming under fire from Ronald Henry, in the 75 machine. Henry pilots the machine back down into turn number 1. Off of turn 2 down the back chute. We go back up front with your leader, Rick Gibson, off of 4. 0.2 of a second that time out in front of Michael Massey. Well, that's what the best laps are right now. The best lap belonging to Rick Gibson, a 16.780 second effort. Michael Massey on the board with a 16.983. Ronald Henry, a 17.253. And Brian Beach, an 18.10 second lap. Looks like Henry has gotten around. And Henry in the infield. Problems for the 75 of Ronald Henry. That's going to leave us with 3 cars on the racetrack right now. Rick Gibson out in front. And that is going to be the end of heat race number 1. 6 laps in the books. The win going to go to Rick Gibson, the 38. Michael Massey going to be in second. And we will roll on to heat race number 2. Rolling out right now the cars for heat race number 2, the Patriot Graphics UMP Modifieds, second heat race. We're going to have the man of the evening so far, 2 for 2 in competition on this Sunday night. Mr. Ronald Piles driving the 68 machine. He's going to be outside of the front of the first row. Brian Neff going to be on the inside, the 60 car. And the second row back on the inside, Tim Desward out of Knoxville, Iowa in the 69. He's going to be alongside the number 1 of Mr. Martin Karch. This looks like going to be heat race number 2 for the Patriot Graphics UMP Modifieds. We are green off of 4. Brian Neff going to catch him sleeping, leads the field into turn number 1. Neff, the only rookie driver among the ranks this evening, at least an iRacing rookie. And here comes Ronald Piles on the inside of turn number 3. Piles very sideways, but the car drifts beautifully off of turn number 4, and Piles going to lead lap number 1. Neff back to second spot. Third spot looks like it's the 1 of Martin Karch, and here comes Martin. Going to pick up 1 spot off of turn number 2 as Neff gets into the outside retaining wall. Karch, the lone warrior on the bottom of the racetrack off of turn number 4. Trying to challenge Ronald Piles and take over the top spot. Piles going to lead lap number 2. Working lap 3 right now. Here comes Karch off the bottom of turn number 2. Once again, they're door to door into turn number 3. Karch on the bottom, drifts up the racetrack, tries to slam the door. They touch him, Piles into the wall. Oh, tough break for Ronald Piles. The 68 machine is upside down in turn number 2. Martin Karch going to be your leader. Off of turn number 2, Karch still out front down the back stretch. And Karch tagging the wall there a little bit on the entry of turn number 3, has worked his way up towards the top of the racetrack, through the middle off of turn number 4. Still your leader as we work the back side of the racetrack, and that looks like it may be the end of it. Going to bring it to a close there. Heat race number 2 going to go to Martin Karch in the 1 car. Yep, and it looks like, you see the replay there, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Karch just getting to the inside, slides up the racetrack, and no more room there. As we say in the dirt track racing world, there wasn't room for the Holy Spirit between those cars. And unfortunately, it looks like Piles just getting the short end of that racing stick. But so far, 2 for 2 this evening. What if anybody can do it from the back of this 9-car field? It's going to be the 68 out of Kingwood, West Virginia for Ronald Piles. Let's see how it goes here. We get a little pre-race hot lap session here. And we will get ready to run our 30-lap Patriot Graphics UMP Modified main event here in just a moment. Fastest car on the racetrack right now in this pre-race practice session is the 1 car of Mr. Martin Karch, but only by 1/10 of a second. And guess who's second quick? That's right, the 68, Mr. Ronald Piles. It's gonna be interesting to watch Piles run his way up through this field and make his way towards the front. Tim Deswart right now out of Knoxville, Iowa. Third quick, 16.669, and it's Rick Gibson with a 16.742, and Michael Massey rounding out the top 5 with a 16.971. And we are on board right now with Michael Massey in the 45 machine. Through turns 3 and 4, working the bottom to the middle of the racetrack. Let's just sit back and take a ride here and listen to this throttle around the 4/10 mile dirt over at Dirt Track at Charlotte. hear there, ladies and gentlemen, the throttle control, really key to helping these cars around the racetrack, really as it is with any division here in the dirt track racing world. But almost, it's really paramount with these modifieds, the late model, and definitely the midgets that we saw earlier on this evening. So good run there, good ride with Michael Massey around the 4/10 mile dirt oval of the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Massey once again driving the 45 machine this evening out of Beeville, Texas. Looking to grab the W here in the Patriot Graphics UMP modified main event. So far the evening has been all about Ronald Piles in the 68 car, 2 for 2 in feature racing so far for the 68 machine. Looks like we may be getting ready here in just a moment to go. Feature racing, 30 green flag laps for the Patriot Graphics UMP modifieds. And we get the cars off the racetrack there for the pre-race hot laps. We want to thank each and every one of you once again for tuning in this evening. Race on Texas, bringing you the American Short Track Association Sunday Night Speed here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Check out the American Short Track Association on Facebook. They do both dirt and pavement races for those of you that like a little bit of blacktop in your lives. I do believe they've got racing sessions on Tuesday as well. You can spectate those. Check them out. Michael Massey and the group put on a good show in just about any class there is in iRacing. They do love those oval tracks. And we are getting ready to go here for 30 laps with the Patriot Graphics UMP modified main event. Once again, we'll get everybody sorted out once the iRacing green flag drops. We'll see the cars shuffle around and grab their rightful starting places, and then we will turn them loose. 30 laps here around the dirt track at Charlotte. Once again, we want to say thanks to the American Short Track Association for having us on this evening and bringing you these great races that we've seen so far. We want to thank Slideways Karting Center for sponsoring the midget race we saw just a moment ago. Once again, Slideways Karting out of Knoxville, Iowa. We want to thank Patriot Graphics for sponsoring the UMP modified portion of the evening. This will be our third and final race tonight with the American Short Track Association. Like I said earlier, the man of the evening has definitely been the 68 of Kingwood, West Virginia. Mr. Ronald Piles has been 2 for 2 so far in competition. And unfortunately, after an altercation there in the heat race, Piles going to shuffle to the back of the pack. It looks like the inside of the front row going to be the 38 of Rick Gibson. And alongside him going to be the 1 of Martin Karch. Second row inside will be the 45 of Michael Massey. Then it's the 69 of Tim DeZwart. Third row inside, the 18 of Brian Beach, alongside the 60 of Brian Neff. And then inside, row number 4 will be the 75 of Ronald Henry. The field will round out with the 68 of Ronald Piles. We are underway. And Gibson going to lead the field off into turn number 1. Looks like he's working the high side of the racetrack. He'll have the lead coming off of turn 2. Second spot going to be Martin Karch in the 1 car. Third spot right now looks like it's Michael Massey in the 45 machine. Oh, we've got Brian Beach around in turn number 3. The 18 car going to bring it to a stop. Let's see if we keep it rolling. It's still Gibson out front, working lap number 1, or actually working lap number 2. We're going to have it complete this time off of turn number 4. Karch on the bottom of the racetrack off of turn number 4, running in the second spot. The gap that time at the stripe, 0.345 seconds. Fastest lap on the racetrack right now belongs to Martin Karch, a 16.832 second effort as we come side by side into turn number 3. Karch with a bit of an edge off the bottom of 4, but it's not going to be enough at the line. It's still Gibson out front. Karch there in second spot. Karch going to make the move off the bottom of turn number 2. He'll take the lead into turn number 3. Third spot is Michael Massey. He's got a good battle going on right now with Tim DeZwart in the 69. Ronald Piles sitting in the 5th position right now, trying to claw and scratch his way back up towards the front. speaking of back up towards the front, Rick Gibson now underneath Martin Karch for the lead off of 4. Gibson got the good line into turn number 3. Karch battling back on the outside. It's not going to be enough. It's still Gibson at the stripe, and Karch into the wall now through turns 1 and 2. Gibson going to slide up, take the line. Here comes Karch trying the crossover move on the bottom of turns 3 and 4. They are wheel to wheel as they cross the stripe. Back down into turn number 1. Still Gibson out front. 6 laps complete of 30 scheduled. Still side by side for the top spot. Let's go on board with Martin Karch right now. Working in the 1 machine in the 2nd spot. We take a look on the inside of the race car. He's on the bottom of the racetrack underneath the 38 of Rick Gibson. Rolling into turn number 3, Karch right around the tires, working the hub of the racetrack, trying to slide up and take the line away. Not going to be enough that time. It's still Gibson out front at the stripe. And Karch going to make the move off the bottom of turn number 2. Going to take the lead into turn 3, but is very sideways on the bottom of the track. Gets on the binders hard. Is he going to have enough off of 4? Yes. Martin Karch, your leader that time at the stripe. 9 down. 9 complete. And 21 to go as Karch once again takes the lead off the bottom of turn number 2. These two right here have been slicing and dicing all night long in this Patriot Graphics UMP modified feature event. 10 laps down, 20 laps to go. It's still Martin Karch out front. Gibson now working the bottom side of the racetrack. Michael Massey, Tim Deswork, Ronald Piles round out the top 5. Boy, Gibson there was all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack through turns 3 and 4 that time, right around the tires. I don't think it was enough. It's still Karch out front. The gap last time. We are now on board with Rick Gibson, ladies and gentlemen, through turns 3 and 4, right up alongside the retaining wall. Down the front boulevard, you see the black and white number 1 machine. Oh, and Gibson into the outside wall. Making adjustments through the first set of corners, hard into turn number 3 now. You see Karch kind of loose up towards the top of the racetrack. Still trying to chase him down in the 1 machine. Rick Gibson back into turn number 1, 13 laps complete. Gibson that time 0.6 of a second off the leader. Karch has started to open up the lead just a little bit. Hasn't quite checked out on the rest of the field. Gibson not letting it go down without a fight. Karch loose that time through the middle of turns 1 and 2. Gibson unable to capitalize. The gap still about the same, a 0.639 second advantage to Martin Karch. Through turns 3 and 4 once again. This time it'll be 15 laps complete. We are halfway home, ladies and gentlemen. 15 down, 15 to go. 0.606, still about 0.6 of a second. Behind Martin Karch is your second place car, Rick Gibson. It's a big jump back to Michael Massey, almost a straightaway behind your top 2 cars. Those first 2 have really laid the keys on the front desk and checked out on the rest of the field. Martin Karch once again up to the top side of the racetrack in turns 3 and 4. Good run down the front stretch to lead that time. Oh, we got a yellow on the racetrack. Yellow flag coming out for the 60 car of Brian Neff. You see the heavy damage there on the 60 machine. Going to give you the instant replay here, ladies and gentlemen, of the incident there, the 60 machine. Brian Neff. Had the 18 car stopped of Brian Beach there, and Neff with really nowhere to go, just getting into the 18 car there. Unfortunately, the caution coming out for the 60 car of Brian Neff. He will be a lap down when we retake the green flag. It will be Martin Karch out in front. Rick Gibson in second spot. Michael Massey will line up third. Tim Deswart will be fourth. I tell you what, probably a good break here for Ronald Piles, probably needing a caution flag. Going to bunch the field back up. Piles once again was the winner of 2 of our 3 events this evening, picking up the American Short Track Association Street Stock feature event earlier on this evening. And then just a few minutes ago was the winner of the Slideways Karting Center Midget Main Event. We are getting ready to go here once again. As soon as the pace truck leaves the raceway, we will turn them loose here. "20 laps complete that time by. Once again, caution laps do count in iRacing races. So 20 laps down, 10 laps to go that time at the stripe. We're going to get the field bunch back up behind our leader. It's Karch, Gibson, Massey, DeSwart, and Piles, the top 5. Brian Beach, Ronald Henry, and Brian Neff round out the field. Looks like we're going to be taking the green this time off of turn number 4. The pace truck is gone, and Karch back on the throttle. We get back underway. 20 complete, 21 this time by. 9 green flag laps to go. Karch, your leader, back down the straightaway. We're going to look back to the battle for second spot. It's a 3-car battle for that second position. As, like I said, that caution really helping out Ronald Piles in the 68 machine. Gets around Michael Massey for the 3rd spot down the front boulevard. Into turn number 1. Here comes Piles now. Had to start at the back of this race. The caution really helping him out here. A stroke of luck for the 68 car as we come now to 24 laps complete and 6 laps to go. 23 laps complete and 7 to go. It is Karch, Gibson, and Piles nearly nose to tail down the backstretch into turn number 3. Karch going to be your leader coming off of 4. Gibson 0.2 of a second off the leader that time at the stripe. Piles lagging there in the 3rd position, a little bit about a half a second behind your leader right now, but still beautifully drifting around the top side of turns 3 and 4, all 3 cars. And now Gibson to the bottom of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, going to try to put a slide job on Martin Karch for the lead. It is not going to be enough. Karch going to hang on to it. Here comes Ronald Piles now, trying the bottom sideline through 3 and 4 to take over the 2nd spot from Gibson. Not going to be enough. 26 complete and 4 to go. Karch, Gibson, and Piles still your top 3. Here comes Piles on the inside of the 38 machine. They are right up alongside the retaining wall, the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. A beautiful sight in the world of motorsports. UMP modifieds right up around the wall, just beautifully in formation. Here comes Gibson one more time, looking to the inside. It is not going to be enough. Gibson very sideways in the middle of the racetrack. A good save. He's going to hang on to that 2nd spot. Sticks to the bottom side of turns 1 and 2. It's 28 complete and 2 to go. Karch out front. Here comes Gibson with a run off the bottom of the racetrack. Gonna stay committed to the bottom side of 3 and 4. Maybe Gibson has found something. Is it gonna be enough? No, Karch gonna lead it. That's 1 more to go. And Martin Karch into the infield tires. That's gonna be it. That is gonna be it. 30 laps complete. The win gonna go to Mr. Martin Karch in the 1W machine. Gibson in 2nd spot. Piles was 3rd. That was a heck of a race, ladies and gentlemen. The Patriot Graphics UMP Modifieds, quality over quantity here tonight with the Modifieds at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And Martin Karch gonna take the win here in the 3rd and final main event of the evening. A little celebratory donuts down there in Victory Lane. We'll get Martin here in the press box in just a moment, and we'll have a little chit-chat with the winner of the Patriot Graphics UMP Modified main event. Looks like you might be right. Looks like no interview with Mr. Martin. Looks like he doesn't have a team speak there. Shame, shame, shame. But nonetheless, congratulations to Martin Karch this evening, taking the win in the Patriot Graphics UMP Modified main event. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning in with us through RaceOnTexas.com. I want to say first and foremost thank you to Michael Massey and the American Short Track Association. Oh, there's Martin. There's Martin. Mr. Martin Karch, can you hear me, brother? You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, man, how about it? Congratulations on that win there. I thought that caution there towards the end was going to give Ronald Piles there maybe a chance to get up around you and Gibson and take that top spot, but looks like you held him off. You had a heck of a run there with Rick, though, those last 8 or 10 laps.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping cards would have played a little differently after that incident in the heat race with Piles, but with us winning, it's still all right, I guess.
Well, Martin, you definitely one of the guys to beat most of the time in these American Short Track Association races. What's it take to stay on top, be competitive, be the guy that everybody's gunning after?
The amount of laps that I turn on dirt during the week in and week out, is actually the key to my success. I turn roughly probably 500 laps a week just on dirt.
Definitely a practice makes perfect type situation there for you.
Yeah.
Well, Martin, you put it to him tonight in this UMP Modified main event, the Patriot Graphics UMP Modified main event. I just want to wish you congratulations, brother. We hope to see you back out there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Pretty much it comes down to just getting comfortable with the cars. You don't need to go out and try setting a fast time right away. Get yourself familiar with the car, what it does, where you need to let off, stay on the gas, whatever. Once you feel comfortable doing that, that's when you start pushing it to the limits.
Well, Martin, real quick before we let you go, brother, I know you got some sponsors on that one machine. Who helps you out?
I just want to thank Broadway Truck and Auto, Dirt Slinging Outlaws, Massey for putting on this show week in and week out, and you guys for broadcasting it.
Well, we certainly appreciate you being here with us, Martin. Congratulations once again on picking up that Patriot Graphics UMP Modified main event.